for black girl nerds.
Thank you, ladies, for your performances. So beautifully done, so layered and nuanced, and a lot of things that a lot of teenagers and adults can relate to, too. With your two characters, your relationships are kind of complicated. You're very polar opposites. And a lot of teenagers can relate that who have siblings who are overachieving or underachieving or not living up to parents' expectations. How would you describe your characters and where they're at this point in their lives, starting with you?
I think for Izzy, she wants to be accepted. She wants to be loved, and I think that's why she's so rebellious and outspoken, because she fights for other people's social injustices, and she is going to be herself no matter what, because she doesn't want to lose herself to what society expects. And I mean, Elena especially, she believes that if she just makes Izzy go in the direction of society's expectations, she'll be happy and she'll live happily ever after. But that's not the case, because not everybody can live by society's expectations and do and be who they want to be.
And on the flip side, your character is trying to live up to the expectations and the pressure associated with that. How would you describe your character's path at that time, during this time?
Absolutely, yeah. She's definitely very different from what Izzy goes through. I think she's just the walking example of what it's like to be raised in that picture-perfect family, and that there's so much pressure involved in being perfect and striving for this perfection that doesn't exist, that she's lost her empathy and her ability to see herself in a clear light and see others. And so it takes someone down a really dark path, because you're no longer responsible for how you treat other people and how you treat yourself. And the only thing that matters is like striving for this perfection that doesn't exist, and that creates some problems along the way.
Something that I appreciated greatly about your characters, I'm 44, and at my age, you didn't see shows like that where the teenagers were dealing with so many layered issues at these points in their life. So a lot of people my age can see a lot of themselves in your respective characters. How do you feel about the feedback that you'll receive from adults who've experienced, maybe are coming out or have wanted to come out at that age, or were overwhelmed by the expectations of their parents? What would you say to those older people who are looking at the show and can relate to those things?
I think especially for the people who are relating to Izzy, I think they should know that no matter what, they shouldn't change who they are to meet society's expectations or the people around them. If the people around you aren't supporting you and loving you and doing what you can, they shouldn't be in your life, because those people are the people who are going to push you down and say, no, you can't be that. No, we don't accept that. You can't do that anymore. It's detrimental to others' personalities and emotions. And I think when you're older, you have a lot of life experience. And I think even if you don't, you should still be yourself no matter what, and never change that for anybody.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
What I like about the show is that it's set in a different time period, set in the 90s. Well, your portions are set primarily in the 90s, where there isn't social media and not the same influences that teenagers have now. When you were crafting your portrayal as young people in these roles, did that alter the way you approached your character, since you don't have your character doesn't have the same frame of reference that you would have at this time?
Yeah, it absolutely does. I mean, it's interesting that it's from the 90s, which seems so recent, but it's actually a completely different mindset, a different culture. You don't have social media. You have this false progressiveness that was happening in the 90s that was specifically in Shaker Heights was just we stuck onto so much to make ourselves feel really great, and but we didn't have social media, and so as an actor, it was really exciting to dive into that and to try and understand that headspace. And a lot of it for me was like listening to music from that time that I think that Lexi would listen to as opposed to me, my character Lexi, and shows of that time, and just trying to understand that world.
Is it tricky on set when your character's name is Lexi and you have a Lexi on the set?
Yes, it's my character Lexi and Lexi, the real Lexi.
Yeah, we definitely messed up their names multiple times.
There was a lot of double names because you also have Izzy and
Isabel, and
who
it was
plays
like
your friend.
And we're like, what do we call them? And then sometimes I'd call her Izzy on accident, and it'd be like, too many names are similar, guys.
Yeah.
No more of that.
Another thing I also enjoyed is just kind of just the subject matters that you're approaching by having an interracial relationship and having struggling with your sexuality and what direction you want to go in life. How do you think that young people will respond to your characters and what they see?
I hope that they respond well to the emotions and depth of Izzy, and I hope they see how much words can hurt a teenager, because we're still learning and we're still having all these bottled up emotions that we don't have anywhere or anybody to talk to about. And I hope people learn that you should talk to your parents or a parent figure. You should talk to them about things you might not want to talk about, but you need to, because those things, it might be awkward and it might be weird and you might feel uncomfortable, but these things are important and kids need to talk about it no matter what. And parents need to ask their kids questions as well about what they feel. And if they are having questions about their sexuality, ask them and tell them it's okay. No matter what you feel, I'm going to accept you for who you are.
I think that's beautiful. And to piggyback off of that, I think that this show is so beautiful in the sense that it's multi-generational. You know what I mean? I love the idea of having a family watching the show, and you can have these conversations, you know, for my character Lexi, seeing parts of yourself in her, you know, or a parent seeing that in their kid and starting these conversations to take it into the opposite direction and to create some kind of growth or change from that is really exciting to me and could create really beautiful things, hopefully.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. Beautiful
Thank
job.
you.
Thank you
Really
so
enjoyed
much.
it.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.